Hello and welcome to Critical Idiots. Today it's just me again. Yep, like a bad smell of chlamydia, I keep coming back, so strap in and enjoy the ride. But before I get started, I just want to have a quick drink of something. Love that shit. And before I continue, this review has spoilers, so watch at your own discretion. Okay, so I'm not going to recap the entire story of the Fast Saga, nor am I going to ask you to watch all the movies, because any semblance of a cohesive story is really just surface level bullshit to loosely thread the movies together. Justin Lin returns to the director's chair for Fast 9. The story follows Dom Toretto and his gang finding a MacGuffin to stop Jacob Toretto, from gaining access to its powers and blowing up the world or something like that. This is a dumb movie, much like all the others before it. But what Fast and Furious does better than any other franchise is cater to its audience. You're promised every single time that the next movie will up the ante again and again, and they fulfill that promise with each installment. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A lot of the dialogue is cringy and just bad. To be fair, if you're watching this movie expecting Billy Wilder level writing, then you're more of an idiot than the target audience of this franchise. But it did detriment from this film. There's a lot of this movie that relies on the emotional beats and childhood of the main characters, and while the younger actors do a pretty good job of what they're given, the writing is just not as up to scratch as I'd like it to be. Also, giving emotional dialogue to a gruff and macho actor is just pointless. Vin Diesel is a one-trick pony, and to me he does that trick really, really well, but for him to do that kind of emotionally charged character work is just not in his wheelhouse. Unless the Safdie brothers get to him. That could be interesting. Tyrese and Ludacris play more of the comic relief characters in this, and I can understand why. I think their chemistry together is just insane. They've really learned from the past movies that whenever they interact, it's usually a goldmine. They both have a charm and wit that play really well off one another, and the scenes where they're in the Space Fiero trying to blow up a satellite are just so fucking nuts. The banter between them is hilarious. It's about 3 minutes of screen time, but it's the best 3 minutes of the film. That and the invincible discussion. I almost wish they'd go full fourth wall break and just say, hey, how come we can't die? Oh yeah, plot convenience. They kind of hinted it, but just not enough. John Cena does a fairly good job of being Dom's brother, Jacob, but as an antagonist, his character development leaves something to be desired. He's been fighting with Dom the entire film, and at the end where he gets double-crossed by the people he's working with, he's just like, well, I guess I'm on your side now, and the team just accept it. The Torettos can't help but trust everyone very easily, to the point of idiocy. It's honestly ludicrous. No pun intended. Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster play almost no role in this movie, to the point where I'm questioning why they even brought them in the first place. Really, the only reason they're of any use is to find Han, who's somehow alive, because retconning is a thing that's commonplace in today's world, and also nobody can stay dead in this franchise. Even when he's back, he's given nothing to do, much like Letty and Mia. The real godparent in this movie is given to Nathalie Emmanuel, and I feel like she takes it and runs with it. All the exposition comes from her, so she's really the only vital female character in this movie. But she's also the most annoying because of the cliche dialogue. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot Charlize Theron was in this movie too. Helen Mirren behind the wheel drifting around the London streets is one of the most awesome pieces of cinema ever. There's nothing quite like Grandma Helen flirting with Vin Diesel while she's doing 200 miles an hour in the middle of a busy road. I don't even think Vin Diesel was acting at that point. I think he was just genuinely having fun. And that also plays to what's great about this franchise. It knows it's silly, but it's got so much charm that you can't help but love it. In saying that, I definitely have a bias on the Fast and Furious saga. I've loved almost every installment so far. So for me to give this an objective score is difficult. Realistically, it's probably like a 4 or a 5, but I love this movie so much. I enjoyed a great deal of it, no matter how ridiculous it is. 13-year-old me who loved cars despite not knowing what a spark plug is, looks at this saga as sort of a happy place. But my biggest problem with this film is the second act, where there's no real action happening and it drags on because, as I said before, the dialogue in this movie is not its strong suit. I was skeptical about the future of this franchise after the loss of Paul Walker because his chemistry with Vin Diesel sort of made the movies. The previous installment was a bit of a dud, but this one really bounced back for me and I'm looking forward to watching it again and the future of the series. I give Fast 9 a 7 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. What did you think of this movie? Let us know in the comments below. And also be sure to click that bell to make sure you never miss another episode. Take care, guys. Delicious.